Is this working? How this? Okay, motherfucker. I love you, love you, do, do. I love you, do, do, do. You. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Nice call. YouTube. Nice call, YouTube. Big ow, your cow. So we go like this or something. We have the light too strong or something. This light. Like that. Then like this. And press play or something.
Koala rescued from Cordo Dam wall released into bush after medical treatment, ABC News. Ollie the koala has scuttled up a gum tree after being released back into bushland next to Cordo Dam, between southwest Sydney and Wollongong. Key points: the koala rescued from Cordo Dam is now back in the wild after a successful release. Ollie, a young male, had to undergo a series of medical tests after suffering dehydration. His rescue was unusual as it involved abseiling down the dam wall. The young male was stuck on the concrete spillway of the dam months ago and had to be rescued by an abseiler to get down the dam wall, then in a boat to take him to land on the other side. Emma Meadows from Wallandilly Wires was involved in the rescue and the release. She said it was a bit different to the rescues she usually undertook. Most of the koalas I deal with are trauma-related, hit by a car, dog attack or just in the wrong place wrong time dispersing, she said. This was definitely an interesting rescue and more complex to organise. MS Meadows was escorted into the field of protected area of the water catchment by Cameron Salter and Jess Stalker from Water NSW. Free again. The cage with Ollie the koala inside was open next to a snow gum tree, which he climbed, stopped to look around, and continued upwards. Perfect textbook release, straight up the tree, which is what you always want.
So let's go the next one. No, next one. Oh, come on.
Search continues for missing Pilbara man Wesley Lockyer. ABC News. News ticker flood warning for the latest flood and weather warnings. Search on ABC Emergency. Video, search continues for missing Pilbara man Wesley Lockyer. Flash supplied. WA Police posted 9 hours ago. 3rd November 2022 at 7:25 p.m. Police and says are continuing to search for missing Pilbara man Wesley Lockyer, focusing on 150 square kilometres of bushland around the Jimparinya Aboriginal community. Stories from ABC News. Rochelle. Duration, 2 minutes 12. Cybercrime reports jump as criminal gangs target families and businesses, Cyber Security Agency says ABC News. Cybercrime is continuing to surge in Australia as gangs use increasingly sophisticated techniques to defraud and blackmail households, governments and businesses across the nation. Key points: the Australian Cyber Security Centre says it received over
Okay, you gotta stop it. You gotta stop it. You gotta stop it. In the name of God, God, God. God, in the name of God, God, God. BSP, poo, poo, P. You gotta stop it. Help how to stop it. Every building, stop it. Every building, have it. In your system, in your system, in your computer, in your system, in your computer, your system, in your computer. Pa, ta, pa, te, pa. Wah, wah. Everybody should have it. Everybody should have it. Why are we missing out on something? Why do you want to do that for? It should be all blocked. And no, let's say a nice scientist, a doctor, an army. We put in, we do things, pack a thing. You made, we love you. You made it. You made it. You made it. I love you. Whatever, whatever. But stopping it, having it to stop. What is cyber security? What is cyber? Why so many buildings getting damaged? Attack of cyber attack. Who is doing this? Relation. Stop it, stop it. We made you in, we get you in. It's something bing, 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 ba bum, ba bing, bing. Wow, please. The army, the support, we love you. Scientists are beautiful. Why don't we kill the virus? Be nice, be loud. I love you, I love you, I love you.
Key points. The Australian Cybersecurity Centre says it received over 76,000 cybercrime reports last financial year. The agency now receives a report every 7 minutes, compared to one every 8 minutes the year before. Criminal gangs are weaponising sensitive stolen data at a greater scale, AXC says. The Australian Cybersecurity Centre AXC has launched its third annual threat report, revealing that it received over 76,000 cybercrime reports last financial year, a 13% increase from the year before. That means the agency is receiving a report every 7 minutes, compared to one every 8 minutes the year before. The release comes in the wake of a string of high-profile data breaches, including cyber attacks on both Optus and Medibank, which have compromised the private data of millions of Australians. And the figures in the threat report still only provide a partial picture, because a large proportion of attacks go unreported. AXC head Abigail Bradshaw said the agency was grappling with the continued commercialisation of malicious malware and cybercrime tools and the weaponisation and monetisation of sensitive stolen data, which was being exploited at a greater scale by criminal gang networks. Ms. Bradshaw said she was particularly concerned that many Australian organisations still had critical software vulnerabilities, which criminal groups and hostile states could exploit rapidly. Many of those vulnerabilities are now being exploited in days or hours as opposed to weeks as they have been in the past, she said. The report identifies the serious cyber attacks which resulted in an extensive compromise of either critical infrastructure, a federal government agency, or government shared services, although it does not provide any details. It also says a growing number of businesses reported having been hit with ransomware attacks, with criminal groups releasing the personal information of hundreds of thousands of Australians as part of their extortion tactics. The agency responded to 135 ransomware incidents last financial year, a 75% increase on the year before. Cost of cybercrime rises for Australian businesses. The average cost of every cybercrime reported has also risen, hitting almost $40,000 for small businesses, around $88,000 for medium businesses, and more than $62,000 for large businesses. The AXC report also highlights how online criminals are scamming businesses with fake emails, including tricking business owners or employees into revealing confidential commercial information. Businesses reported combined losses of almost $100 million from these crimes over the last financial year. And the report says some companies in Western Australia suffered losses over $1 million. Ms. Bradshaw also favored Russia's use of cyber warfare during its invasion of Ukraine, as well as its mobilization of criminal online gangs to target Ukrainian government entities, was profound and new. In the last 12 months, we've witnessed the sustained integration of cyber with conventional warfare in Ukraine and the coalescence of powerful and disruptive cybercrime gangs and nation states combining efforts in that conflict, she said. The report also highlights the way some criminal and independent groups have conducted activities in support of Russian or Ukrainian interests, independent of Russian and Ukrainian government chains of command. The acts warned earlier this year that Australian organisations should be on guard for possible cyber attacks from Russian-aligned cyber groups after the federal government sent weapons to Ukraine to help it repel the invasion. But the report does not outline any examples of Russian groups targeting Australian businesses or governments. Treasurer Jim Chalmers plays down recession fears on Plus as energy costs and inflation continue to rise. ABC News. Treasurer Jim Chalmers has told ABC's Plus he does not believe Australia is headed for its first recession since the 1990s. Despite a worsening global economic outlook, key points, Jim Chalmers said he hopes to introduce regulations to stem the rising cost of energy by Christmas. The Treasurer said Australia becoming a republic is on the agenda. Mr. Chalmers said he does not believe Australia will enter a recession. The Treasurer appeared opposite host Van Grant as the only guest on Thursday night and was questioned about lack of help the budget offered to Australians struggling with the soaring cost of living, disinflation and interest rates rise. However, when asked by audience member Anam Khan if Australia was headed back to said dark days of the 1990s, Mr. Chalmers played down the risk of a recession. It's certainly not the Treasury's expectation in their forecasts that we will go that way, Mr. Chalmers said. Europe will and the UK will. Other countries are at risk as well. And we won't be completely immune from that. When the global economy turns down, substantially, as it did almost 15 years ago, as it did a couple of years ago, we can't completely escape the consequences of that, but I don't expect us to go into recession. Those comments are in line with what Reserve Bank of Australia officials said in September. However, Mr. Chalmers was challenged by Grant that he did not really know if the nation would avoid a recession. Mr. Chalmers repeated his claim that it was unlikely, but said that, if Australia did not get inflation under control, then a recession could be more likely, while also warning painful times were still ahead. Our economy will slow quite substantially next year, as a consequence of the global downturn. The impact of higher interest rates, and some other issues as well, he said. Over the next 6, 12 or 18 months, we are in for some very tricky terrain from a global point of view. And we will feel the impact here. Energy regulation by Christmas. Some of that pain was indicated by the RBA on Tuesday as interest rates rose another 0.25 percentage points and a warning came that inflation would hit 8% by the end of the year, before gradually falling back to a little above 3% in 2024. While interest rates are rising rapidly, so too is the cost of energy, and audience members demanded to know whether the government had formulated a plan to tackle the issue after the budget failed to do so in a meaningful way. One audience member said they had just paid a $1,600 energy bill and, when asked if it would get worse, Mr. Chalmers said yes before citing Russia's invasion of Ukraine as a reason. It was put to him by Grant that as an answer was not good enough, which led to Mr. Chalmers saying a plan was being formulated and would arrive by Christmas. That's my intention, Mr. Chalmers said on the Christmas timeline. There are 3 paths. The first is something in the tax area. The second path is around subsidies, whether that be to people or to companies, and thirdly, whether there's some kind of change in regulation that can bring the price down. Our preference is to do something with regulation. The work that I was doing even up to coming on the show is to see, with other ministers and the Prime Minister, whether there's some kind of intervention that we can make to keep these prices down. That's our preference. But we don't want to rule out subsidies or tax. Mr. Chalmers also said that the government was considering price caps in the energy market before being asked if Labor would still honour their election promise of $875 reduction in power prices. He again turned to the war in Ukraine as a reason things have become more expensive and said the 2021 modelling that promise was based on was for a short war in Europe. Republic on the government agenda. While the bulk of the episode focused on financial issues, the Treasurer put the issue of Australia becoming a republic back on the agenda when asked about it. With Queen Elizabeth II having died and King Charles fresh new monarch, he said the Republican issue was back on the agenda and that the government would push for it after a voice to Parliament referendum had been settled. The first thing that we need to do is a voice to Parliament, Mr. Chalmers said. When we achieve that, together, then we need to move on to a republic. I cannot believe that a country like us, in this day and age, couldn't see itself with one of our own as our head of state. I think that's so important. It's one of the reasons why I'm here in the first place. But first, the voice to Parliament. Watch the full episode of Abseas Plus on iView. Posted 5 hours ago, 3rd November 2022 at 11:45 p.m. Updated 4 hours ago, 4th November 2022 at 12:49 p.m. Catholic Church orders multiple inquiries into allegations a priest failed to act on child abuse complaint against pedophile clergyman, Neville Green. ABC News. Despite commissioning multiple investigations, the Catholic Church is still to resolve allegations a priest knew about pedophile clergyman Neville Joseph Green's abuse of a schoolgirl in the 1980s. Key points: the Church has failed to resolve the complaint, and has now commissioned another report. Father Green was convicted of multiple offences of abusing young girls in the 1970s and 1980s. Father Lancini denies claims a victim of Green told him she had been abused. To independent reviews and investigations have so far been undertaken by the Church, and a third is underway into a complaint by Townsville woman Kathleen Wolfe, who was abused by former Catholic priest Neville Green in the 1970s and 1980s. Ms. Wolfe alleged that as a 16-year-old in the early 1980s she met with then Mount Isa priest Father Dave Lancini and told him that Green had touched her when she was a schoolgirl. She alleged Fr. Lancini disregarded her disclosure. Ms. Wolfe also alleged that in another meeting in the late 2000s or early 2010s she again raised Green's abuse with Fr. Lancini. Fr. Lancini has vigorously denied the allegations and said he did not ever recall Ms. Walsh coming to see him when he was a priest in Mount Isa in the 1980s or later when he was in Townsville in the 2000s. He has also said he would have reported the allegations if he was told. Other church officials said they first knew about Green being an abuser in 1994 when a report was received in relation to a different child and Green was stood down. Green convicted of abuse, but it was only in the early 2000s that Green's offences became widely known, when he was convicted and sentenced to 3.5 years in jail after pleading guilty to indecently touching 18 young girls. He has since been convicted of other charges for similar offences, and in 2019 was charged with abusing Ms. Walsh when she was a schoolgirl. He pleaded guilty to the abuse, which began when Ms. Walsh was in grade 7 at her school in Mount Isa. During the 2020 sentencing of Green for the abuse of Ms. Walsh, District Court Judge Craig Chowdhury revealed details of her victim impact statement where she claimed she disclosed the abuse to Sr. Lancini and there had been an alleged lack of support by the church. Fr. Lancini was not accused of wrongdoing in the case, was not represented, and did not give evidence. In his sentencing remarks, Judge Chowdhury criticised Fr Lanchini's alleged response to Ms. Wall's claims that she told him Crean had touched her. Judge Chowdhury told Crean, instead of supporting her and trying to get to the bottom of what happened, Lanchini disgracefully said to her, accusing her of coming onto you, Crean, as she was advanced and in a relationship. In 2020, Ms. Walsh asked the Catholic Church for an apology. I just wanted him, Lanchini, to hear about my life and what had happened to me, Ms. Walsh said. Concerns about inconsistencies. Ms. Walsh also alleged she told the nuns about the abuse, but they failed to take any action. Both women have since died. Responding to Ms. Walsh's 2020 request for an apology, the Church ordered the first investigation by Australian Catholic Safeguarding Ltd Axel. That investigation was completed in 2021 and given to the Catholic Church's National Professional Standards Office. The outcome of that investigation is unknown. Ms. Walsh said she never for the report but immediately raised concerns about inconsistencies and that it failed to investigate allegations relating to what information the two nuns had about the case. Do you know more? If you have any information about this story, contact cullinan.rory@abc.net.au. Following her complaint about the actual investigation, a review was commissioned by the Church. The review, undertaken by a lawyer, found the previous inquiry was not fair or just and recommended another investigation. According to emails from the Catholic Church to Ms. Walsh that have been cited by the ABC, a second investigation was then commissioned in August 2021. That investigation by an external company sustained on the balance of probabilities Ms. Wall's allegation that she disclosed Crean's abuse to Sr Lanchini and that he did not pass on the information to the relevant authorities. The investigation's findings relied significantly on Ms. Wall's account and the sentencing remarks by Judge Chowdhury, as there were no other witnesses to the alleged disclosure. It stated that Lanchini categorically denies ever knowing the complainant. The report also noted that, where a finding is established, it does not allege or
Goes forever. You can come there, watch it, man. Bloody hell. Anyway, I've got too much in my mind. Leave that there or something. Push this up, please. And I'm gonna go right at the top, which is this defense ones, is it? Then you go like this or something.
Arunta builds partnerships at sea and ashore. Defense News. HMOS Arunta has been enhancing partnerships at sea and ashore during the first phase of her Indo-Pacific regional presence deployment. After departing her home port of Fleet Base East, Sydney, in mid-September, Arunta undertook independent training in Australian waters before transiting through the Indonesian archipelago into the South China Sea. The 118-meter-long frigate, with her crew of about 200 officers and sailors, began the work of building regional partnerships by operating with the U.S. Navy Arleigh Burke-class destroyer Ush Higginson, Royal Canadian Navy Halifax-class frigate HMC Winnipeg. While in company, the ships conducted anti-surface, anti-air, and anti-submarine training activities. Throughout the passage, Arunta's flight deck team, aircraft maintainers.
I'm putting the headphones on because it sounds a bit loud and it's pretty early, so it sounds a bit loud. So I can put the headphones on.
Pilots and aircrew were kept busy operating the ship's MH-60R Seahawk Athena for training, including deck landing practice on Higgins. Below deck in Unta, the training continued, with damage control exercises, preparing the crew to respond to every type of emergency including floods, fires or toxic hazards. An official visit to Sattahip, Thailand, provided further opportunities for all three ships to strengthen regional partnerships as well as get some well-earned rest and recreation. Arunta Commanding Officer Commander Jason McBain received a warm welcome from his Royal Thai Navy hosts on arrival, before reciprocating the hospitality with an official reception in conjunction with Winnipeg while berthed together at Sattahip Naval Base. The evening featured a reception and ceremonial sunset aboard Winnipeg, immediately followed by a reception in Arunta. Among the distinguished guests were Royal Thai Navy's Rear Admiral Anruth Sawuzde, Australian Ambassador to Thailand Angela MacDonald, and Canadian Ambassador to Thailand, Laos, and Cambodia Sarah Taylor. During the stopover, Detachments Fromont and Higgins visited a local orphanage to take part in sports with the local children. To end the visit, officers Fromont are invited to join their counterparts from Winnipeg Higgins and several Thai Navy Fleet units for an official function, hosted by the Royal Thai Navy Fleet Commander. Commander McBain said the first phase of the deployment has provided plenty of opportunities to strengthen relationships, enhance our skills and improve our interoperability with long-standing allies at sea. Opportunities to operate in company with Canadian and U.S. Navy ships at the same time are valuable, and the whole team in Unta has performed well, Commander McBain said. It was a pleasure to be hosted by the Royal Thai Navy in Thailand, to welcome Royal Thai Navy leaders and other personnel as guests aboard Aanta, and to deepen the relationship between our countries and navies during this visit. Air Aanta sailed from Sattahip on October 11 to continue her regional presence deployment. Air Aanta is part of a 5-ship task group conducting regional engagement activities throughout the Indo-Pacific region. Air Aanta sails during regional presence deployment.
Oh, it's finished. Can you hear me from this? I'm gonna try it from this headphone. My hands are shaking. I'm nervous. You're my lie. You're my lie. No, I'm not. Okay, come on, amigo. In the Pacific engagement, radio presentation deployment, Runta International.
Cultural tribute keeps friends in tune. Defense news. Australia's partnership with Japan has been highlighted through music in an unusual demonstration on Sydney Harbour. The Royal Australian Navy band released a special video clip featuring the popular Japanese folk song Umi the Sea blended with the Australian song Waltzing Matilda. Australian Navy musicians performed on the ancient Japanese instrument, the sho, and didgeridoo. The musical tribute has been timed to support the 2022 Japan International Fleet Week, the multinational maritime event involving navies from around the Pacific Rim and beyond, is running from October 29 to November 13 in celebration of the 70th anniversary of the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force. The destroyer HMAS Hobart, Anzac-class frigate HMAS Arunta, Collins-class submarine HMAS Farntomband auxiliary oiler, replenishment ship HMAS Stalwart will represent the RAN at Japan's 29th International Fleet Review. Their crews will take part in numerous activities involving ship open days, military band concerts, parades and the Fleet Review itself, on November 6. RAN Indigenous cultural performer able seaman Linton Robbins played the didgeridoo, accompanying leading seaman Henry Liang, playing the well-known Aussie and Japanese melodies on the show. The sho is an ancient wind instrument, first used in the imperial court music of Japan gagaku, from about the 7th century. It is made of 17 slender bamboo pipes, bundled together and mounted over a bowl, usually made from resin, wood or copper. I have always been an admirer of Japanese culture, leading seaman Liang said. The sho is such a beautiful instrument to play, and I hope the Japanese people will find that I have done it justice. Able seaman Robbins agreed the composition paid a unique tribute. I am honored to be representing Indigenous Australian culture in this celebration of our nation's heritage, culture and friendship, Able seaman Robbins said. The Australian Navy and people have so much in common with Japan. Understanding each other's cultures can only lead to closer ties between our countries.
Well, stripping out, fucker. Love ya.
A first for Stalwart on deployment defense news. HMAS Stalwarthus completed its first visit to a foreign port while deployed in support of Indo-Pacific Endeavour 2022 IP-22. Coming alongside Indeli's Stalwarthus visit was also the first to Timor-Leste by a Royal Australian Navy vessel following the signing of the new defense.
This listening, you got a suspicion. It's funny what I'm gonna say. You're gonna fucking shit your pants when I say it. It's like Australia, um, um, what's the word? Invite, not invite. Disturb, not disturb either. Anyway, celebrate by asking. Ask there, Papua New Guinea. Ask there, wherever it is. Ask everywhere. Okay, we can go there with you, Australia. Ask Canadian, American will go there with you, Australia. We'll go there. Ask, come on, Australia, go and ask. Okay, we are getting questions from America or something, or Chile, Argentina, wherever it is, navies. They want you to know Thailand or Taiwan or somewhere special. We have two navy boats go there and we celebrate heaps of crazy shit, man. No worry about it. Thailand. What about New Zealand? What about Cook Island? What about Papua New Guinea? Philippines? I don't worry. We don't want this go to China because China don't. They get a bit angry and North Korea get angry and anyway, you do that, Australia. Okay. Bye bye.
Cooperation agreement in September and the first since borders were closed in 2020 because of COVID-19 restrictions. The ship was commissioned into service in November 2021 as the Navy's second supply class auxiliary oiler, replenishment vessel and commanding officer stalwart, Commander Steve McCracken.
Okay, this I don't know if I'm talking to this little plastic headphone plastic thing. Yeah. Technology, this technology, that. Oh yeah, well, let's mix it with Thailand, Philippines, and other because if we do go bang bang debate, China debate, North Korea debate, other debate, they can't go too many times or 55. Bring some others: Esmeralda, Mapuche, Chile, America, Navy, Joe Biden, the whole world, bloody different people all didn't even know they were doing this, that, and there, and they kept it so quiet quickly. Didn't even know. They should have advertised it 100 million times. Showed it off, mate. Showed it off. Fire. It's wrong, mate. Wrong. But they can do that because they're asking, they're doing it, they're proving it. And Australia is helping in army, doing controversial. I love you.
McCracken said it had been a busy year for the crew. Being new into service, Stalwart has been working towards milestones on the path to operational capability, Commander McCracken said. Critical to this has been the period of sea trials conducted in May-June 2022, followed by a period of maintenance to ensure the ship remains materially ready for deployment. The final piece of the preparedness puzzle has been the collective training to ensure the ship is at the required level to deploy off the Australian.
Oh yeah. If it's recording me again, look, if it's recording, it's just saying that every time they're gonna make it do like a diplomat and say you did well, record, you did his diplomatic, this, and big gala party, completed all 6 days, 7 days a week, and your whole country be memorized for a war or something special or anything, debating whatever history time two power together so we can be customized and learn our body cultures armies be together, come and we'll celebrate, give you certificate, the whole lot, festivals, 7 days, something crazy. We love you, whoever it is. Come, we need to ask permission first, do this correctly first, and madness. Australia.
Australian station. To progress from commissioning to operational deployment in under 12 months is a significant achievement that the ship is very proud of. Chief Petty Officer Bosun Christian Duncan, right, with a Timor-Leste sailor on board Stalwart pulling into Tybar Bay Port, Timor-Leste. From September until late November, 5 ships, 11 helicopters and about 1,800 personnel will visit 14 countries, participating in activities and joint training exercises in the areas of maritime law, humanitarian assistance and gender, peace and security, as well as military engagement. while HMA ship Sidilady and Donzak form the main maritime contingent stalwart, along with HMA ship Show Bartanda Antair participating as part of broader deployments to the region. During its first stop, Stalwart hosted Timor-Leste lead.
Okay, but when we do this celebration, all this must be different countries, different places. Everybody winning a world record, man, by incredible, asking, doing a facts. Oh, different countries, too many, 12 days, 12 years, oh, poof, next month, next year, everybody's getting history lessons. Corruption, anyway. I love you.
Leaders aboard for an official reception and ceremonial sunset, as well as capability demonstrations and a gender, peace and security engagement with female leaders from the Timor-Leste Armed Forces FFDTL and Maritime Police Unit. Participating in IP22 allows Stalwart to prove its capability and demonstrate to our friends and partners that we can provide logistics support throughout the region, Commander McCracken said. The recent visit to Timor-Leste and the Tibar port was a great experience for the ship's company and a fantastic achievement for the ship. Over a third of the ship's company had never made a foreign port visit with the Navy, and to be able to conduct these visits following the COVID period is a highlight. Following its departure from Timor-Leste, Stalwart will continue its support to IP22 with a port visit to Manila, Philippines. Commander McCracken has high hopes for his crew. I hope the crew really enjoys the opportunity of the deployment, operating and integrating with allies and partners across the region while visiting new and exciting places, he said. Also, I hope the crew has fun. Operational deployments is what we do and why we join, but you must have fun doing it. For further imagery, visit Thedifant's image gallery. HMAS Stalwart sails into Timor-Leste.
Must have fun. This recording fun.
Best 10 trails in Illawarra Escarpment State Conservation Area. All trails. New South Wales, number 5 of 59 state parks. Best trails in Illawarra Escarpment State Conservation Area. Want to find the best trails in Illawarra Escarpment State Conservation Area for an adventurous hike or a family trip? All Trails has 34 great trails for hiking, walking, and birding and more. Enjoy hand-curated trail maps, along with reviews and photos from nature lovers like you. Ready for your next hike or bike ride? Explore one of 7 easy hiking trails in Illawarra Escarpment State Conservation Area that are great for the whole family. Looking for a more strenuous hike? We've got you covered, with trails ranging from 5 to 624 meters in elevation gain. Whatever you have planned for the day, you can find the perfect trail for your next trip to Illawarra Escarpment State Conservation Area. Description: the Illawarra Escarpment State Conservation Area functions as an extensive rainforest habitat corridor with 200 million years of geological history, connecting with Royal National Park and the South Coast to provide refuge and safe travel for species. The Illawarra Escarpment has a rich and continued cultural significance for the Vodé people who occupied and used these lands for 20,000 years, especially for traveling between the coastal plains and plateau, forming many of the roads and trails still used today. The area can be visited year-round, with native wildflower blooms on display in spring, shaded and cool forest trails to refresh in summer, and ideal lookouts for whale watching in winter from the escarpment's elevation. Show more. Top trails 34, Vodé track moderate 4.3 193 number 1 Vodé track length 5.8 km estate. 2 hours 22 minutes Bong Bong Pass hard 4.3 111. Number 3 Bong Bong Pass length 3.1 km estate. 1 hour 42 minutes Ken Ausburn track moderate 4.164 number 7 Ken Ausburn track length 3.1 km estate. 1 hour 20 minutes, Forest Path Loop. Moderate 4.264 number, 8 Forest Path Loop length, 11.6 km estate. 3 hours 1 minute showing results 1-10 of 34 top national parks, top state parks. Frequently asked trail questions about Illawarra Escarpment State Conservation Area. Where is the best place to hike in Illawarra Escarpment State Conservation Area? According to users from alltrails.com, the best place to hike in Illawarra Escarpment State Conservation Area is Voti Voti Track, which has a 4.3-star rating from 193 reviews. This trail is 5.8 km long with an elevation gain of 387 meters and it takes an average of 2 hours 22 minutes to hike. What is the longest trail in Illawarra Escarpment State Conservation Area? According to alltrails.com, the longest trail in Illawarra Escarpment State Conservation Area is Forest Walk to Sublime Point Track. This trail is estimated to be 15.8 km long and takes on average 5 hours 3 minutes to hike. How many trails are in Illawarra Escarpment State Conservation Area? There are 34 trails in Illawarra Escarpment State Conservation Area. These trails have an average 4-star rating from 2004 All Trails Community Reviews. Which trail has the most elevation gain in Illawarra Escarpment State Conservation Area? If you're looking for elevation gain, Illawarra Escarpment State Conservation Area has you covered. Jack's Nebo to Mount Kirabo asks the most elevation gain, with 624 meters of total ascent. The park's runner-up is Forest Walk to Sublime Point Track, which will get you 618 meters of elevation gain. Recent reviews of trails in Illawarra Escarpment State Conservation Area. One of my favorite walks along our escarpment, up amongst the coast track as one of the great coastal trails around the Sydney area. Great views of the coastline. The view from Sublime Point is amazing. Bring a camera. Some decent climbing and a massive descent to Austinmer Station toward the end. Great challenge. Although the walk is short, it feels like an adventure. There is one tricky climb near the top. I went left and used rocks to pull myself up. Right is wet and slippery. Wonderful views at the top. Beware, there are no extension options. The fire trail is a protected area with warning signs of fines and surveillance.
Must have wanted to record that. Must have wanted to record that or something. Might have to have a car to go to all these places in Illawarra. Wow. Hey, don't trip on a snake. Wow. You can go on the top. This all down the bottom. Wow. You, you can go on there and go around it, but don't go where the see there where the green bit is. Don't go there because you'll fall down and you'll die. All right, you go around the top, like on the top only. Certain parts you can go, like here you might see that the mountain is green on the other side and it keeps going, the clouds, but on the top, just at the end here, on the brown bit, that's where you gotta walk. The other bit is a cliff. You have to get right down the bottom. Too much, mate. You'll know about it. Like you can't go down there. You don't go on the rock bit. If you know what I'm saying. Be insane. There. That's a bad photo, that one. Very bad photo. You don't walk there. Nothing to do there. It's where the rocks are. The bad photo, that one. Bad. Naughty, that one. Naughty. This one's not that naughty. You can see it. This one's not that naughty. You can see it. This one is a bit naughty too because there's nothing in front of him showing you where the person's standing. But anyway, they're like this. You stand on this rock around the bottom here. It's got flowers, yeah. Down there you can go to the ocean. Get your feet wet. So this is Illawarra. Best trail in Illawarra. Illawarra, New South Wales, Australia. I don't know why I wanted that. Then I was going to go there. Oh, what was this one? I think it was meant to go like that. Oh, come on. What's it doing? Get the far out. Took the headphones out. I don't know why. Took the headphones out. Is that about?
Video editing, all details at a glance magics. Read on to learn helpful tips and tricks, as well as guides, to help you find the ideal software to meet your needs. Tutorials and step-by-step instructions to guide you through every step of the video editing process. Informational texts explaining specific topics in detail. Video editing fundamental. Video editing is by no means hard. Dive deep into this topic with us and learn how to cut and edit videos like a pro. Cutting videos and films. One of the most important steps in video editing is cutting. This process should be simple and yet produce impressive results. Learn how to easily edit videos in a number of different ways. Editing videos for YouTube. Cutting and editing videos for YouTube is not rocket science. Learn how to get your videos ready for YouTube. From editing to creating intros and outros, find out everything you need to know to create a professional YouTube video. Record and edit screen capturing. Easily record your own Let's Plays and tutorial videos. Find out how to create a screen captures and then edit them. Start creating your own screen recordings now. Adding text to your video. Text in videos can be a helpful resource, whether as subtitles, as an intro, or in the credits. Whatever the case, text serves a specific purpose and often help your audience better understand the video. Learn how to add text to your personal videos to give them that little extra touch. Creating and editing 3D videos. It isn't that difficult to bring videos to life in the third dimension. Find out how to shoot, cut and edit your footage to create incredible 3D effects. After all, 3D videos are nothing more than great videos that trick viewers using spatial perception. Special effects. Visual effects add that little something extra to your videos. When applied professionally, good videos become amazing videos. Become acquainted with a wide range of effects to enchant your audience. Video effects for professional and hobby productions. What is the difference between visible and invisible effects? How are effects properly applied, and at which point in the video editing process should effects be added? Find the answers to all these questions in the Video Effects Guide. Easily create speed effects. Video speed effects are a standard in video production and used all the time to produce slow motion and time-lapse scenes. Learn how to apply speed effects to your videos to make them even more exciting. Play video in reverse. Here's how. Playing video in reverse often surprises the audience because an everyday situation is suddenly shown backwards. Amaze your audience and learn how to easily reverse footage. Using the video zoom effect to impress your audience. Bring objects closer or move them further away from the audience. Both are possible, whether a zoom in or a zoom out, using zoom video effects. Learn how to correctly use this effect for your video to create that special feeling in your audience. Create miniature worlds using the tilt shift effect. It is essential to make adjustments to sharpness, increase contrast and adjustment additional image elements in order to achieve the perfect tilt shift effect. Use the tilt shift effect to transform your city and landscape shots into miniature worlds and immerse the audience in your video. Color correction. Match colors between two videos, or simply correct the color of a single video. Learn about and gain an understanding of the different types of color correction, as well as how to apply.
Okay, what is his name of this magic comb? Will I get to it? What is it? Magic comb. Magic.com. Magic. Okay, must cost money. Fuck yeah.
The best free video editing software in 2022. Tom's Guide. Home Best Picks Apps. The best free video editing software in 2022. Image credit and of /Shutterstock. The best free video editing software is ideal if you want to turn all of that footage gathering dust on your computer into a mini movie masterpiece, but without spending a fortune. Sure, you can splash out on one of the best video editing software packages overall if you prefer, but a free version will let you learn the basics without any outlay. What's more, the best free video editing software is a lot more feature-rich than you might imagine these days. Where once they would be severely limited compared to their paid cousins, most now offer a bunch of advanced tools for everything from transitions to soundtrack to special effects. That said, not all free software is created equal. That's why we've tested all of the top free video editing software packages to help you decide which one is right for you. We've spent hours editing our own video footage within them and assessing them for ease of use, so we're confident that these are best options available. Read on and we'll help you choose the best video editing software. Top 3 video editors overall in 2022. If you feel you're already ready to take the step up to some more advanced video editing options, there are some really great value paid for options out there. If you're creating video for commercial purposes in particular, it's worth investing in the proper tools. These are currently the best 3 paid for video editors out there. On to the best free video editing software. After testing numerous suites, we think the best free video editing software overall is HitFilm Express. It works with both Macs and PCs and has a revamped interface that's powerful but easy to use and customizable to your needs. While HitFilm is free, you can pay for 30 add-on packs, which range in price from around $15 up to $50. These include such features as 360-degree video editing, 3D titles, advanced color grading tools and LUTs, and even audio tools, such as Doppler shift and noise reduction. Lightworks is another great option, offering plenty of advanced tools completely free, but with the caveat that exports are limited to 720p. Mac users who only need a simple video editor will find that Apple iMovie is the best free video editing software because of its strong integration with Apple's operating system and easy-to-grasp editing tools. iMovie supports 4K video and has some good tools for smoothing shaky video, adding titles, and even soundtracks from music in your iTunes library. However, you won't get advanced features such as 360-degree video editing and special effects here. Of course, there are some features that can only be found in paid software packages. Be sure to check out our picks for the best video editing software under $100 too. But if you need just the basics, you've come to the right place. The best free video editing software you can download today. The best free video editing software overall specifications. Compatible with Mac, Windows minimum system requirements Windows 8 64-bit, Mac OS 10.13 Sierra reasons to buy plus customizable interface plus drag and drop special effects are easy to apply plus cross-platform plus. Library of great free instructional videos reasons to avoid no Linux support minus may have slight learning curve for newcomers. HitFilm Express is the best free video editing software package. Its high-energy style appeals to budding filmmakers who want to put a special touch on a personal event or get creative with a video blog, but it's still easy enough for the adventurous friends and family crowd. The latest version, HitFilm Express 2022.1, includes an array of enhancements, such as clipping masks, a lasso mask feature, and a bunch of in-app tutorials. That's all on top of the many other features already present in this premium feeling package. There's an auto stabilizer to make bumpy footage look smoother, motion tracking, a color picker to selectively adjust colors, and a crop and pan tool otherwise known.
Free video. What happens if I do this? Oh, gets it out, amigo. Y se va allá. ¿Cómo está, concha sabida? Fuerte para la wea. ¿Me está escuchando esta wea? Wow. Tiene una 1 hour, amigo. 1 hour, amigo.
This is the Apple Watch setting to enable to make your watch last all day. Tom's Guide. Home News Wearables. This is the Apple Watch setting to enable to make your watch last all day. Image credit. Future. You might know how to use the Apple Watch, but do you know how to charge the Apple Watch? That might seem like a ridiculous question, but there's actually a hidden battery Apple Watch feature that you probably didn't know about. The Apple Watch supports optimized battery charging, a setting that's perhaps better known for preserving the iPhone's battery health. But ever since the iOS 7, the Apple Watch has offered optimized battery charging, too. Over time, the Apple Watch's battery health is prone to deteriorate due to a combination of factors. As a lithium-ion battery chemically ages, its performance weakens. This results in your Apple Watch not lasting as long on a charge as it did when you first got it. Enabling optimized battery charging is one of the best Apple Watch tips we could offer. After all, nothing's more inconvenient than your Apple Watch losing charge just as you want to start a workout or leverage the device's sleep tracking features. While WatchOS 9 introduced Apple Watch low power mode, you still want to protect your Apple Watch's battery for the long term. Recommended videos for you. Follow Tom's Guide on TikTok. Opens a new tab to see more of our favorite tech tips in action. At Tom's Guide opens a new tab. Beam 16th Notes original sound music table opens a new tab. This tip about optimized battery charging is especially useful to know if you have the new Apple Watch Series 8 or Apple Watch SE 2022. But there's also an
Oh, you have to come to Tom to with this new Apple battery that goes all day. Wow, he's done it. What a man this guy is.
Best Android phones in Australia 2022 Tom's Guide. Home Best Picks Smartphones. Best Android phones in Australia 2022 included in this guide. Image credit, future. If there's one thing above all else that makes Android a great platform, it's choice. The best Android phones give you a wealth of options for any budget, meaning you can find a handset that perfectly suits your needs. Whether you're willing to pay $499 or $2,499. All you have to do is figure out which features are most important to you. Of course, this article is here to point you towards the best Android phones that are currently available in Australia. So whether you want an amazing camera, a stunning screen, brilliant design or a long battery life, there are plenty of options available to you. This year has already brought us some fantastic premium Android devices, such as Samsung Galaxy S22, Z Fold 4 and Flip 4, along with more recent handsets like Google's new Pixel 7 and Pixel 7 Pro phones. Of course, with so many options to choose from, it can be tough for Android newcomers and even veterans to narrow down the best Android phones in Australia to pick. So with that in mind, here are our top picks in 2022. Recommended videos for you. What are the best Android phones? Here at Tom's Guide, we've taken the liberty of testing all of the major flagship Android phones in our quest to narrow down the best. Right now, the best Android device for most people is undoubtedly the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra, thanks to its refined design, powerhouse performance, excellent and a built-in S Pen. Admittedly, the S22 Ultra's $1,849 price may be a little rich for some, however. The Galaxy S22 offers many of the same features for hundreds of dollars less. The $1,299 Pixel 7 Pro is the best camera experience on an Android phone, hands down. It also features the new Tensor G2 chipset, taking advantage of Google's advancements in AI and machine learning to make it the smartest Android device around. While it lacks for battery life, it makes up for it in other facets. If you want to save more money and get most of the same features, you can opt for the $999 Pixel 7. Of course, if you're on a budget, but still want a flagship-level smartphone experience, it's hard to beat the Pixel 6a, though we think it's worth spending a little more money to get the new Pixel 7 and its brilliant Tensor G2 exclusive features. Those are the best traditional handsets out there, but if you're ready to join the foldable revolution, Samsung's Galaxy Z Fold 4 and Flip 4 are easily the two most premium phones on the market thanks to their unmatched design and top-of-their-line Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 Plus chipsets. The best Android phones you can buy today. The best Android phone you can buy. Specifications: display 6.8-inch dynamic AMOLED 3088x 1440 120Hz CPU, Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 RAM, 8GB 12GB storage/expandable 128GB 256GB 512GB 1TB/no rear cameras 108MP/2.2 main 12MP/2.2 ultrawide 10MP/2.4 10x telephoto 10MP/2.43x telephoto front camera 40MP/2.2 weight 228G reasons to buy plus faster S Pen built-in plus super bright display plus better low-light photography reasons to avoid expensive minus shorter battery life than S21 Ultra. The Galaxy S22 Ultra is the new king of traditional Android phones. It's got almost anything you could ever want in a phone, including a built-in S Pen stylus. It sports powerful cameras, the top-tier Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 processor, plenty of storage options, and a jaw-droppingly gorgeous display. The Galaxy S22 Ultra still stumbles in the battery life department, more so than its predecessor. While the phone went for 10 hours and 18 minutes in the Tom's Guide battery life test, that result was in the 60Hz refresh rate mode. In the 120Hz adaptive mode, the Galaxy S22 Ultra only lasted for 8 hours and 50 minutes. Well below some competitors like the iPhone 13 Pro Max, which also features an 120Hz adaptive refresh rate. But if you're firmly in the Android camp, there's no better phone than the Galaxy S22 Ultra right now. You'll just have to pay at least $1,849 for the privilege. Read our full Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra review. Today's best Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra deals. Infinite data in Oz at speeds up to 2 megabit per second after your max speed data is used. Text standard, national SMS and MMS data 10 GB plus 30 GB bonus at max speed. Min total cost $1,888.96. No excess data charges in Australia. Speed will be capped at max 1.5 megabit per second. Call standard national talk and text within Australia. Text standard national SMS and MMS to standard Australian mobiles. Min total cost $1,897.96. No excess data charges in Australia. Speed will be capped at 1.5 megabit per second. Calls to standard Australian numbers. Texts unlimited SMS and MMS to standard Australian numbers to use in Australia. Min total cost $1,906.96.
I don't understand that $1,000 or something they were on about. I know this is gonna go for hours. Where I go, fuck it. I go down here. S SMG or something, or GMS Marina something in there. And how do you get to all the phones brand or something? Asus or something. And then we have to get this one, I think it is. Wait up. Does it have platform Android 11? No memory card, okay. No memory card, okay. Oopa, what are you doing? No memory card. What does it go up to here to get memory card? No memory card up to this one. Memory card. Well, this one, an old phone, is still kicking around.
Asus Zenfone 7 Pro full phone specifications. Triple 64 MP slash 1.8 26 millimeters wide 1.1.72 0.8 micrometer PDAF with 8 MP slash 2.4 80 millimeters telephoto PDAF with 3x optical zoom 12 MP slash 2.2 113 17 millimeters ultrawide 1.55 1.4 micrometer dual pixel PDAF.
What happened? What happened? Wasn't it? No, Paul, Sakawea, what are you doing, man? This is an old phone from 2020. It's a good one. It's just as the camera comes at the top. It's a tricky one. Okay, then it's got this one. No card. No card. No card. No card. No card. Okay, you've completely killed yourself or something. No card. What are you on about? No card. Where's Sony? I don't know. What's the Sony called? Oh, that's it. What's that? Sony X5. Yep. But then when you press to look for it, it just gives you these things like with the numbers. I don't understand why to do that. Oh, 999. There you go. Oh, yeah, like that. You can just go slow. It's got the memory card. Press you want. Oh, the battery. Well, how long is battery? 500. 5,000. Good battery, is it? What the people are saying or something like this. Well, what's it? This one? Sony Xperia 5. Okay, I've gone over the hour. This phone's gonna blow up in a minute. There, underneath the last one. The last one here it is.
OpenAI opens up AI text-to-image generation to businesses with launch of DALL-E API. The Verge. OpenAI is making its image generation software, DALL-E, much more widely available to businesses with the launch of an API in public beta. The API will make it easier for companies to add DALL-E's text-to-image functionality to their products, giving developers simplified tools to integrate and customize.
Okay. Oh, did I cut it? Anyway, if I did, I don't know. Is it recording? I'm gonna say that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you buy something from another company, they might have to say, "Oh, we got it over here. We send it into there. We still got it over here. Then we send it into there. Got it over here." But they got the signal all the time. They got the signal. They bought this. They own it, and we store it here. What they did, they name and this and that, and they store it, all our info. So we don't know what when it's in our hands, and we made it. They don't have it. We own it. We own it. We made it. Why don't they send like a disc or something where they can not pass it over through the internet? Because it's going to stay in their side, how the ingredients, and then you just bought the ingredients to help you do whatever. And it sounds future, man, future, far, far. Ooh, crazy shit, eh?
Customize the software to their liking. An early use case for the API is Microsoft's Designer app, which uses the software to generate imagery for Office users, from PowerPoint slides to illustrations for homework. Microsoft is one of OpenAI's major investors and unveiled the app last month. Luke Miller, a product manager at OpenAI working on the API, told Verge that the company was excited to see the new applications developers would find for DALL-E. We already have a few.
They were asking about search engine. Can we trust a search engine? What is this? Not ours. We're just using it for us how we want it. And we download this, download that, can do this. Oh, incredible what a search engine can do. But then you feel threatened, you feel disgusted, you feel violated. You say, can we share? Can we lie? Can we do? What is his name? What is the internet? What is the why they? But I don't own it. They got a print. I'm using it. I'm taking advantage. Oh my god, I'm fucked.
few customers building on this in very interesting ways, said Miller. Some are creative explorations, some are more business-oriented. Miller gave the example of a startup called Mixed Styles that is using the API to generate posters and art for home decoration, and another called Kala that is using it to help customers design their own clothing. It's always inspiring to see the creative ideas people come up with, he said. OpenAI faces competition from rivals offering easier access to their software. Interest and adoption of text-to-image AI have exploded over the last year, and OpenAI, once the domain's clear leader, has been challenged by newcomers like Midjourney and Stability AI. These organizations have put fewer restrictions on users, allowing them to build on their AI systems with little oversight. Meanwhile, other players in this space, like Google and Meta, have taken a far more cautious approach, developing systems with similar capabilities but restricting their public use to very limited scenarios. As well as the obvious creative benefits offered by text-to-image AI, there are manifold dangers. The software can be used to generate misinformation and harmful imagery like non-consensual nudes, though OpenAI makes such uses of its software difficult through keyword filters, and there are challenging ethical questions concerning data use. Text-to-image AI systems like DALL-E are trained on images scraped from the web, which usually include copyrighted work by photographers, artists, and designers. Many artists are angry that the resulting technology can not only boys to imitate their individual style but also that they have not been compensated for the use of their work to generate income for multi-billion-dollar companies like OpenAI. Some firms developing text-to-image applications are beginning to offer compensation. Shutterstock, for example, which licensed its contributor data to OpenAI to create DALL-E and which is using its API to generate custom stock imagery, announced recently that it is setting up a contributors fund to reimburse individuals whose work is used to train AI. When asked if OpenAI was planning to institute any similar schemes to compensate artists, Miller said the company had nothing concrete in the works. "I don't have anything specific to share on this right now," said Miller. Obviously, it's
Hey, but I like to say if it's an AI or science, intelligent, whatever it is, fingerprints, everything, the whole lot, we're being controlled by the major powers and everything, extraterrestrial AI, go to the system and to other people who are budget well designers, data, numbers, this, that, AI, too much for my brain. It's fucking identification, International Computer Network website.
something we're continuing to seek feedback from the community on. It's a very complicated question to think about from a lot of different perspectives. We want to learn from the community and what they value. With OpenAI, the question is even more difficult to answer, as the company has never shared what training data was used to create DALL-E beyond the licensing of imagery from Shutterstock. Legal experts suggest that training AI models by scraping public images, even copyrighted ones, will likely be covered by fair use doctrine in the US. But as many artists have noted, adequate legal cover is not the same as ethical endorsement. OpenAI says access to the DALL-E API will be rate limited to begin with, as the company spins up its systems, and that it will not be vetting customers in how they use the technology. Again, DALL-E's filters do limit the creation of certain images containing nudity, gore, and politically sensitive material. Customers will be charged per image generated and will be able to choose between 3 resolution tiers. 256 x 256 images will cost $0.016 apiece. 512 x 512 images will be $0.018 apiece, and 1024 x 1024 images will be 2 cents apiece.
Fuck yeah, no. Love ya.
FTC sues Chegg for exposing sensitive student data. The Verge. The Federal Trade Commission filed a complaint on Monday against education technology provider Chegg, which has experienced 4 data breaches since 2017 via New York Times. In one 2018 incident, a former Chegg contractor gained access to one of its third-party cloud databases, exposing personal information such as names, email addresses, and passwords in addition to students' religion, sexual orientation, disabilities, and parents' income. Some of the stolen data was later found for sale online. Officials also say Chegg didn't have a written security policy until January 2021 and failed to provide sufficient security training to its employees. Data stolen by an ex-Chegg contractor was later found for sale online. Now the FTC says that across all the breaches, Chegg's insufficient cybersecurity practices resulted in exposing data for approximately 40 million users. Chegg has agreed to honor a proposed order from the FTC to improve its data security, which will see the company implement multi-factor authentication, provide security training to employees, encrypt user data, and allow customers to access and delete their data from the platform. In a statement provided to New York Times, Chegg said data privacy was a top priority for the firm and that only a small percentage of users had provided data on their religion and sexual orientation as part of a college scholarship finder feature. Chegg is wholly committed to safeguarding users' data and has worked with reputable privacy organizations to improve our security measures, and will continue our efforts, the statement said. Chegg took shortcuts with millions of students' sensitive information, said Samuel Levine, director of the FTC's Bureau of Consumer Protection. Today's order requires the company to strengthen security safeguards, offer consumers an easy way to delete their data, and limit information collection. On the front end, the Commission will continue to act aggressively to protect personal data. Richard Lawler profile and activity. The Verge. Amazon confirms a pause on corporate hiring. The hits keep coming, and this time it's Amazon, confirming a New York Times report from last month with a public announcement of a pause on new incremental hires in our corporate workforce. The notes about the economy echo other decisions about layoffs or hiring freezes, but as Chris Welch points out, it also oddly refers to Prime Video and Alexa as newer initiatives for some reason. We still intend to hire a meaningful number of people in 2023 and remain excited about our significant investments in our larger businesses, as well as newer initiatives like Prime Video, Alexa, Grocery, Cooper, Zoox, and Healthcare. Richard Lawler 2:59 a.m. GMT +11. Stripe is laying off 14% of its employees. The payment processor cited stubborn inflation, energy shocks, higher interest rates, reduced investment budgets, and sparser startup funding as obstacles it's facing. In the letter announcing the move, CEO Patrick Collison said the 1,000 or so employees he's letting go will receive 14 weeks severance, their 2022 bonus payment for unused tow, and immigration support for visa holders, among other assists. Aubrey Plaza is joining a WandaVision spin-off on Disney+. According to Variety, the former Parks and Rec star has been cast in Agatha, Coven of Chaos. Kathryn Hahn is obviously headlining the show as Agatha Harkness, and the report indicates that star Emma Caulfield Ford will reprise her WandaVision role as Dottie. The Sandman will return for Season 2 on Netflix. Reported first by Deadline, then confirmed in a tweet by Neil Gaiman, the adaptation has been confirmed for a second season. If you're thinking about diving in now that you know it's coming back for another run, check out our review. Tariq Musahid high praise for the effort in our review, but adaptation is almost an insult to what the creators achieved. The series is perhaps the best screen adaptation of big, concept fantasy literature since Peter Jackson's The Lord of the Rings trilogy. Beat for beat, iconic frames, lines of dialogue, performers' makeup and wardrobe, all of it followed the books, except for a few changes. Alien cornrows. Take a minute and watch the trailer for the new Avatar sequel. Ash Charles Pulliam Moore writes, visually stunning as Avatar, The Way of Water looks like it's going to be, it's feeling like it'll be an even thornier narrative about how indigenous people are forced to fight for their livelihoods in the face of violent, colonial powers when it hits theaters on December 16th. Elon Musk is the running man. Mike Masnick off Dirt plays Ghost of Christmas Future for Twitter's new owner, breaking down the obstacle course of legal, political, moral, and economic issues that other social media execs have been carefully traversing over the last 15 years. Level 12, we're the trustworthy, social media site that supports open dialogue, while doing our best to stop CSAM, hate speech, infringement, spam, and genocide, and we're working to hire more trust and safety professionals, along with setting up an outside counsel. Our slogan is getting a bit long. Catch up on the chess cheating scandal. The chess world is in chaos after Magnus Carlsen accused 19-year-old Hans Niemann of using AI to cheat. On Vox Media Today, explained podcast Wall Street Journal sports reporter Andrew Beaton runs through the fallout from chess' biggest scandal in years in under 30 minutes. Wall Street Journal magazine profiled Jony Ive as its 2022 design innovator. This write-up doesn't detail exactly what we should expect from his post-Apple design firm Lovefrom, but it does dive into his background, as well as his history with Apple and Steve Jobs. Exactly 12 years after Steve Jobs had walked out the door to launch Nexting, Jobs returned as CEO of Apple. Ive, then 30, assumed Jobs would hire a more renowned designer to replace him, but something unexpected happened at their first meeting. I clicked with Steve in a way that I had never before done with someone, and never have since, says Ive. Pagination.
Hey, yeah, and watch it. Okay, one more. It's gonna get 1 hour and a half into it. How this bloody push that up. Now I'm done. They're talking about Apple. Well, we've done AI, haven't we? There was this, the last one, okay.
EU approves effective ban on new combustion engine cars from 2035. The Verge. European Union lawmakers have reached a political agreement in legislation that will effectively ban the production of new combustion engine cars and vans from 2035. As one of the world's largest trading blocs and home to some of the world's biggest car manufacturers, the EU's decision will have a huge impact on global transport, pushing the industry even more firmly towards a fully electric future. The legislation will now have to be formally approved by the EU Council and the Parliament, though it's expected only minor changes will be made. The key requirements are that, by 2030, new cars reduce their CO2 emissions by 55% and new vans by 50%. In both cases, these emissions are compared to 2021 levels. Then, by 2035, both new cars and vans must reduce CO2 emissions by 100%. The Ferrari clause means small manufacturers don't have to meet the interim 2030 target. These are the principal targets, but there are additional caveats. For example, manufacturers that produce fewer than 10,000 cars or 22,000 vans annually will not have to meet the interim 2030 target for reduced emissions, only the final 2035 target. This is the so-called Ferrari clause intended to protect small automakers, which produce fewer models per year than larger manufacturers. There is also a non-binding proposal.
Okay. But how is destroying, killing new weapons, their weapons, food, electricity, water, dams, rain, weather, people nicer, everything combined with economics, culture, money, love, hate you. What is it? Where? Excuse me, please.
Proposal in the agreement to allow the manufacture of vehicles running exclusively on CO2 neutral fuels, also known as e-fuels, beyond 2035 if these vehicles fall outside the scope of the fleet standards. Some critics have suggested this clause is a serious loophole, others that it is merely a way to
Not be compromised. It's gonna be televised, and you're gonna do it, and you're not gonna be. Why you putting shit on Canada's president? Why you doing shit on this, shit on that, shit and everything? Why shit? Just mash up this shit, mash up. God. Where are we? YouTube, and we are in Facebook and West Side website, International Computer Network. Pew pew.
obligate certain factions in Europe that will not affect the legislation's major goal of eliminating emissions from vehicles. The latter point out that the stipulation that these vehicles must fall outside the scope of the fleet standards suggests that only specialty vehicles, like ambulances and fire engines, will be able to take advantage of this carve-out. Lawmakers said the wording on this proposal would be tightened before the legislation officially becomes law, hopefully shedding more light on exactly what it means. Dutch centrist politician Jan Huitema, who negotiated on behalf of the European Parliament in writing the deal, praised the agreement and said it would create clarity for the car industry and stimulate innovation and investments for car manufacturers. This is crucial to reach climate neutrality by 2050. I am pleased that we reached an agreement with the Council on an ambitious revision of the targets for 2030 and supported a 100% emission reduction target in 2035. This is crucial to reach climate neutrality by 2050 and make clean driving more affordable for our citizens, said Huitema in a press statement. The legislation is the first main part of the EU's Fit for 55 project to emerge from negotiations. This is a package of proposed laws intended to reduce emissions by 55% by 2030, with the end goal of making the EU carbon neutral by 2050. Other parts of the package will tackle issues like land use, creating greener fuels for aviation and shipping, and offering new funding to develop renewable energy tech. Meanwhile, other parts of the world are also working towards their own ban on new combustion engines. The UK is currently planning to ban the sale of these vehicles by 2030, while California, the world's fifth biggest economy when compared to nation states, is targeting a ban of new combustion engines for 2035. It's thought that other U.S. states may follow California's lead in the years to come.
So you could come birch, mash up, all put in mix. How you see it? You heard it. Okay, subscribe to Intimix Hector. Must go now. I'll feel red on the face. Thank you. Love you. Subscribe. Intimix Hector.